Environmental informatics is a tool that makes use of analytics and technology to help solve environmental problems.
Efforts to address issues surrounding
Analyze, interpret, and process this data using today's advanced technology.
The Center for Environmental Informatics, or CENVI, is a research center hosted by the University of the Philippines and currently funded by the Department of Science and Technology under its program, the Niche Centers for R&D in the regions.
CENVI is specifically created to address the issues and concerns regarding the environment. In particular, the problems that Central Visayas is facing, like the rapid urbanization that has contributed to environmental degradation.
So increasing urbanization will always lead to more environmental problems. Now CENVI cannot just dip its hand on all these problems. So right now we are focusing on the more pressing and more common problems affecting the region.
We are in need of water. Another problem is our mangoes are actually dying, even though it's pretty much known as a thriving industry. Another problem is that we have a lot of tourists. It needs some intervention. Okay, because it's actually affecting our biodiversity.
We do not know what is in store for us in the future given all these problems. So the best that we can do is to make intelligent predictions. And this is where CENVI and environmental informatics come in. The outputs of these predictions are in the form of a map, or a model, or even the app. So all of these outputs are there as tools for decision makers.
For now, we have developed groundwater maps for which the different local government units can use it to check whether there are groundwater resources available in their localities. Another is that these maps can be used to create regulations to ensure that their water are protected and industrial or commercial activities do not pollute their water resources. With regards to mangoes, we're developing tools that can actually detect different pests and diseases that can degrade the value of those foods. For biodiversity, we're developing species distribution maps. These maps allow our lawmakers or policymakers to create interventions to ensure that our native trees, our native animals are protected. We've been working with a lot of institutions and organizations. One of them is Mandaue City, Lapu-Lapu City, Naga City, and the Vice Mayor's League of the Philippines Cebu chapter. In the aftermath of the Naga landslide, it was CENVI who actually went there in ground zero, providing them with information as to how they can fast track the operations, how they can actually pinpoint the exact locations of the possible victims of the landslide.
We have been also open to CSOs like the religious community,
particularly the Philippine Agustinian Development Office. So they have an initiative to develop a climate smart village in Dumanhog. So we created a map for them to pinpoint areas where there are hazards, pinpoint areas where there's actually a potential for agricultural or residential developments.
The challenge now is how to make CENVI become a sustainable center. So far, CENVI is the only center that deals with environmental informatics in the country. However, turning it into a center or institution is something that is challenging and something that we cannot do alone. What we want is, we hope that the users of information, such as the LGUs, and then of course there are the CSOs, and hopefully the business sector will make use of the information.
In CENVI, we want people to avail of CENVI services and make use of our outputs in their planning and decision-making processes.
Let's make science and technology relevant and useful in our interventions. Hence our tagline,
Providing technological solutions to environmental problems.
In behalf of the University of the Philippines, Cebu, I extend our sincere gratitude to the Department of Science and Technology for the support they have consistently given to us. DOST's palpable support comes not just through research fundings, but also in conferences and international travel, and to our students for their scholarships. DOST's funding support before was centralized in the NCR region. Now, it is spread out in the country. DOST's NICER program is the best proof of this. HEIs in the regions can now undertake quality research, which helps promote development in their respective regions. DOST's NICER program revolutionized, in a way, access to R&D funding in the country. The various NICER programs presented today is a testament that talent and innovation can be made to surface with proper substantial support. R&D experience is one of the most rewarding and challenging experiences in an academic life, both for students and faculty. With proper collaboration and cooperation, coupled with creativity among the government, university, industry, and the community, the society is bound to benefit from it. The United Nations 17 SDGs can only be achieved through their partnerships. UP Cebu's NICER project, the Central Visayas Center for Environmental Informatics, or CENVI, addresses SDG 11 in making cities inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. Through computing techniques, UP Cebu's CENVI produced solutions to pressing environmental problems. Some of its accomplishments range from development of deep learning object detection of mango pest, map generation of potential water sources in Cebu, mapping of different terrestrial species in Cebu, land use development plans assessment, which enable or threaten biodiversity, and recommendations for the protection and conservation of endemic species and forests of Cebu. With the adoption of CENVI's research output, we hope that we at UP Cebu is able to contribute in making Central Visayas and our country a safer and more resilient and sustainable place to live in. Thank you.
On behalf of the Department of Science and Technology, Regional Office 7, I would like to express our commendation and support to the Center for Environmental Informatics, or CENVI, which was established in the University of the Philippines, Cebu, under the DOST's Net Center in the region for R&D of the NICER program. CENVI makes use of computing technologies in response to various environmental issues in the province or in the region, which require instant solutions and interventions. This has been evident in their undertakings, from creating heat maps of COVID-19 cases in the province, providing sustainability assessments, to quick mapping of environmental disasters. And since the DOS's programs and services are exactly in line with CINVI's mission, we place our support on your projects and activities and other initiatives for the general public as we continue to strive in developing a society-centric R&D and at large building sustainable cities and communities.
Secretary de la Peña, Undersecretary Guevara, DOST Region 7 officials, UP Cebu Chancellor Coro, participants, collaborators, and guests, good morning to everyone. It is a great honor to be invited to speak on the DOST Symposium Revolution, a symposium on research evolution towards a society-centric research and development. The German government has been supporting the environmental protection, sustainable development, and the improvement of water, sanitation, and hygiene in schools in the Philippines for a very long time. Crucial improvements have been achieved. The effects of climate change and the negative effects of the pandemic, unfortunately, show us that there is still work to do. One of the tools that German government is providing is the integrated expert. Integrated experts, as you may know, positioned in key institutions, support their assigned organization to grow and develop its goals. I am happy that your integrated expert has been able to support CENVI in the training and coaching of young and promising staff, exploring with them ways to expand the research advice on portfolio development and introducing new technologies and methods. Some of these have been developed by different programs also supported through German development cooperation. These efforts support CENVI in establishing a sustainable future as a research institute for environment in Region 7. There is a clear need for society-centric research and development in the regions. This is clearly demonstrated by CENVI's local research agenda and strong local ties with LGUs and other academic institutions in the region. The integrated expert is key in bringing academic and local knowledge in the Fit for School program funded by the German Ministry of Economic Cooperation and Development, BMZ, by three different things. First, developing of dashboards for the easy interpretation and sharing of WASH in schools, short WINS, monitoring data within the DebEd system, and support-related capacity development measures on the use and maintenance of the dashboard. Secondly, support DebEd in preparing relevant WINS monitoring data, for example, number of hand-washing facilities, for the pilot implementation for the resumption of face-to-face classes, including pilot schools in Cebu, and to ensure safe resumption of face-to-face learning. Thirdly, supporting partners in collecting, analyzing, and presenting the WINS data in the different program countries and reporting on trends and developments. This seminar and transfer of knowledge products by CENVI to its local partners, for me, is testament to the adagium, think global, but act local. And the German government is happy to be part of this. I wish you all a fruitful seminar.
Greetings from France. My name is Annette Prague. I'm the former country director of CordAid, the Catholic Organization for Relief and Development Aid in the Philippines. Between 2019 and 2020, CordAid in cooperation with the Mandawi City government and UP-CENVI worked together to support resilient strategy building. We were promoting multi-stakeholder cooperation in resilience analysis, strategy building and action with communities and local stakeholders. We ensured the inclusion and participation of vulnerable groups and key stakeholders in planning. We ensured building strategies to protect local resources from the impact of climate change and other hazards while enhancing low carbon development. We supported complementing existing planning and mobilizing resources for action. This approach that we undertook together and we innovated together resulted in the development of the Mandawi Climate Change Adaptation Framework, or the CCAF, and the Mandawi Resilience Network, or the MRN. In 2019, MRN was initiated, recognizing the importance of community and multi-stakeholder engagement involving the government, the ILG, City Planning and Division Office, the Office for Strategic Management, CENRO, the Disaster Management Office, amongst others. Academe, especially UP-CEMVI, NGOs and the Red Cross, community groups, the Urban Poor Networks of Mandawi City, private sector, the Mandawi Chamber of Commerce. CEMVI have played a key role in supporting MRN, helping to generate citywide hazard maps, looking at issues around typhoons, coastal and river flooding, sea level rise, saltwater intrusion, fire, landslides. They've helped to compile historical impact of hazards, vulnerability and capacity mapping with all barangays, as well as the climate projections. They've helped collect bottom-up data, ensure equal emphasis between slow onset events or extreme weather events like typhoons and floods. And they've helped to generate the Mandawi City Climate Risk Profile and the CCAF. CEMVI's work with MRN has enabled a 10-year long-term strategy for local government and local stakeholders working together in the first green growth, low carbon city resilience adaptation plan in the Philippines, and aim to be able to address and protect the city resources against climate and disaster risks. CordAid is a proud partner of CEMVI and the Mandawi Resilience Network. We wish you much success in the future. Congratulations. Thank you.